Your New Orleans Pelicans are May 27th. I mean, they 5-27.
First took away. Yes, with this. Get your money's worth out.
Yo, peace and blessings. You know what I'm saying? First off, I'm the Uptown landlord. I got my dog Hammond American in the building. And Lake Charles Finest, you already know what's happening over there. I got my people with me. And this is the best podcast in the world. And it's the most in-depth New Orleans Pelicans coverage you'll find.
Yeah.
And you know what they say?
What they say?
They say they don't hate unless you're great.
Yeah.
Then they trying to assassinate you. And we feeling like MLK. But anyways, how y'all feeling?
We good, man. I enjoy the hate.
Oh, yeah, that's love.
Yeah.
What's popping, Russ?
Often imitated, never duplicated. You know how it is.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Hold on. Before we get into that, this program is brought to you by the Scott Vicknair Injury Lawyers. Have you been injured in any kind of accident, car, truck, 18-wheeler, or hurt offshore? Yeah. Get them boys a call, man.
Hey.
Mixed it up on them today.
Yeah, they handle it all, man. Give them a call, 504-500-1111 for a free consultation. Yes, a free consultation. They always fight for the win. What's up, y'all?
What's popping? What's up? Chung, you gotta chill out, but I appreciate the happy birthday call out. Dog, you gotta chill out in the comments. Dog, you gotta chill out in the comments, man.
Oh, man.
Chung's out of control.
Dog.
He's at the 5-27. Chung's lost control.
Chung a violator. Chung been a habitual line stepper. I don't know what's going on with my man. We wishing you peace and blessings, though.
Yeah,
get well soon.
They got to get a win before Chung goes off the deep end, bro. Something got to change.
Oh man, y'all crazy, man. So
what up,
man?
We got Chaz on the little screen.
Oh, what's up, Chaz?
I didn't even see you down there, bro. I didn't even
Just
see
hanging
Chaz
around,
down there.
man. Just chilling. I just joined. What's popping with y'all, man?
It's all good, man. It's all good. So I was just about to say, in the last couple of days, you know, it's been a lot of movement around the NBA. You know, you seen Mike Brown get fired. And the interesting thing about that firing was the Kings media, shout out to Chaz, they was all over it. And they were speaking unbiasedly, and they weren't being company men, something that, you know, we used to around here. And you know what I'm saying? Like it was a breath of fresh air. And the day you see the Lakers made a trade. So, you know, it seems like everything's about to snowball. I guess I got to start with one. What, if anything, do you expect of the Pelicans?
I think Chaz and Chris kind of alluded to this. Like, this would be a safe time for the Pelicans to do something, right? Now, there are reports saying, like, the Pelicans aren't in DEFCON 1, apparently, to make that happen. And to be honest with you, what is DEFCON 1 then? Like, that would be the next follow-up question. Like, what would DEFCON 1 look like for the Pelicans? I mean, you're already 5-27. What, you don't want to win a game this season? That would be considered DEFCON 1? Or Zion doesn't play the rest of the year? Well, we've seen that before. So that isn't DEFCON 1. What is? What would allude to being DEFCON 1? What would be the steps that needed to take? Because I would like to get there. I would like to get to DEFCON 1. I would like to see this whole thing blow up and then watch the ashes fall from the fucking sky. That's what I would want to see. So tell me if anybody, any Pelicans person, because I'm sure they watch the show. I'm sure they watch our show. I don't know about any other show.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they watch this one. So if you're in the comments, you're watching, yo, let us know. You ain't even got to tell me who you are. You know, be anonymous. Let us know what the fuck DEFCON 1 looks like.
I wanted to address that.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Dawson for that quote, or shout out to Fletcher as well, because both of them like kind of confirmed the same thing. But I'm like, DEFCON 1 is a defensive position. So you are way past anything you could have done to try to salvage the season. You should have been at DEFCON 3 already. Like, it should have been all hands on deck probably about a month ago. So for you to still not have any sense of urgency that's extremely telling to me. Shout out to Chris. Welcome to the show, bro. Like, that's extremely telling to me because this organization refuses to pick a lane, right? On one hand, you're telling players, you're telling DeJounte Murray to rush back, right? You're telling Trey through certain parties and Brandon at a point through certain parties, nah, take your time coming back. You got Zion here Zion can play. Like, at this point, Zion can play. Jose went through a full practice today. You just ruled him out for tomorrow. These dudes can clearly they can play. So you're not rushing them back. But and make no mistake about it, you're trying, like, the Pelicans are trying to win. They ain't out here like tanking these games. They just suck. Like, they're trying to win. So you're trying to win. You're also holding people out so you can lose. It's total confusion. It's total confusion. And that's why you end up with a sappy motherfucker like this. Look at this guy. Look at this brother. Look at him. He's hanging him out to dry. He's in a stance with the commoners.
Man,
I'm sympathetic to him. Like, I don't know him or anything, but I'm sympathetic to what I perceive his situation to be. Like, I'd probably have the same look on my face if I had what amounts to a fake job, not allowed to do anything, just sitting there watching losers. I mean, shit, he got the same face on that most of the fans in there have on their, same look most of the fans have on. That's basically what he is. It's just a fan. He's just watching other people work. Not his fault necessarily. I don't put too much of this on Bryson.
He just got the job this year, so
Welcome to the show, brother Christopher.
Yo, what's up, y'all?
It's all good, man. So we were talking about basically, like, do you think the Pelicans will make a move? And if so, like, what do you think the move would be at the deadline? Is it a move you're expecting them to make?
How would Justin ask me that question?
What's up and welcome to the show, Chris.
He got to give him a little more bass.
There's a lot of you could do a lot worse at host than Justin, boy. I tell you that. Could be someone like this. Oh, what was that?
Yeah, they got unoriginal people out there too, trying to trying to do stuff that looks real similar to
y'all got a glitch on y'all computer, or is it mine tripping?
I think it's the show, bro. Don't worry. Right, some in the background might be loud.
You could do a lot worse at host. But go ahead. Hit that like button while y'all in here, man.
Do I think was the question? Do I think that the Pelicans would make a move or not? Or
like you expecting anything like to? Do you expect them to be? Do you expect them to be buyers at the deadline still? Like, do you think
buyers?
Yeah, you think? Do you think the motherfuckers don't believe that this shit is over? Like, do you believe? Do y'all? I'm asking this question to all y'all. Do y'all believe that they really think at 5-27 we can still write this shit?
I was joking, but I really believe that there's somebody that is saying right now in that building, we're only 11 games back of the 10th seed.
Come on, man.
I'm serious. And I'm serious. I think it's a program in place, and they say, okay, we get Zion back now, get a little momentum going into the new year, and then we'll see where we're at around the trade deadline. If we're within 5 to 7 games of that 10th seed, we're going for it, fellas. I really believe that it's some sickos that really, that believe that shit. Now, do I don't think that that's going to last long. I don't think that this team can get out of their own way, man. Even if it's just what it's been all year, man. Even when they've been somewhat healthy. Like, even the team that's out there right now, dog, should not be down 20 points every night. Shout out to Grubb, man. He's like you got all these different guys with, accolades, right? Coming back from injuries or not, you should not be starting the game down 20. That's what it feels like every single game. So Zion's gonna make a difference because they will win basketball games. Like they're gonna win a basketball game very soon with him being back. But that should not be enough to change the fact that you got 3 guys, at least, but for sure 3 players that I think you should be really out in the market trying to figure out what is it going to take and what can we get back of substance? Can we steal from another organization or get a little bit more than maybe this player is worth between Brandon, CJ, and Herb? 3 guys that they should be trying to figure out who they can swindle and take it from there. But they won't do it. Like, we know this, right? We understand this. We've seen this.
Dog, y'all really think that they in there right now, like, we can make one move and fix this whole thing?
Yeah, they've doubled down, tripled down, to the 10th power at this point about this roster, about how they think things will, play out moving forward. They think they're one move away from being a really good team. Like, there's so many problems, and we've called out all of them ad nauseum. Like, what else do you need to see? You could trade Herb, you can trade BI, you can trade CJ, but you'll still have some of the same problems. To be honest, I think you have an organizational problem here. Like, there needs to be people fired at the top level. And I mean the very fucking top. No other words about it. We've seen this time and time again. Like, and the fact that they think they're one move away or 2 moves away of being a really good team, at what cost? You're just lying to yourself. Like, there's nobody in the building that's telling the fucking truth. And that's, being conveyed to the media members that are covering the team. That's being made to fans. Like, they're raising your ticket prices and giving you a worse product than before. That's just lying to you. And you gonna just keep buying tickets? If I'm a fan of this team, like, I don't watch. I don't go to a game. I won't. It's already hard as hell to watch at home. Just make it hard as hell to watch in person. Just don't go.
So I want to hear Ross and Chaz's thoughts on this too, but I just want to say this before we move on. I don't know what the likes at, so somebody keep us posted. But it ain't enough. Whatever it is, it ain't enough.
Never enough.
You know what I'm saying? Get about 200 more of them right now, and I'll be satisfied. Let me see. Go ahead, Ross.
I'm just laughing, thinking like about. I guess it's been a few weeks since I've had the thought of like, do they believe that they can get back into a play-in scenario?
Right.
But just what a hilarious, like, you've lost, like, you've lost 24 of 26. Like, that's 2 and 24 in your last 26, including 9 straight. With a good chunk of your roster healthy, I mean, like, and you're losing most of those games. I mean, I think our differential for this year is something like a 12, like minus 12. Like, we on losses we lose by 12. That's worse than the Pistons last year. I think the Pistons last year were about 10 differential, negative 10 differential. Like, you're pathetic. You getting blown out. There ain't no. I don't know what the move is anymore. I really don't. But you can't win anything. You're not getting back into any kind of race. 11 back, might as well be 200 back. I think they're probably looking for moves. But again, it goes back to the same thing I think you guys have all said throughout the years. Griffin doesn't want to take a loss on anything. So that's why you haven't seen a Brandon Ingram trade. I think that's why you probably won't see a CJ trade unless it's pushed by CJ and they're just getting him where he wants to go. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think you really won't see much other than Willie Green being fired at some point in the somewhat near future. I think that will be the like thing they do this year. I don't see much more than that.
That was my next question, but before we get to the Willie Green part of it, I just want to say, like, I want to hear Chaz's point, but I think since Ross said, like, now's the time you make the move, I want to ask y'all individually also, like, so what is the move? Like, what move do you make?
You mean for as like team
If there's a
transactions?
trading players, or what do you know what I'm saying? Like who is the one specific move you make?
I don't believe that there's any like real game-changing players available right now. So I think right now you got to start to replenish your assets. I think you got to try to get some second rounders. I personally, if I could trade Herb, I would try to trade Herb right now. I just saw what Dorian Finney-Smith went for, and that's a great Herb comparison. He's a few years older than Herb, but this motherfucker shooting like 40% from beyond the arc. And about 2 seasons ago, you probably could have got a first and a swap for Dorian Finney-Smith. Now you're looking at 3 seconds in like 2027, 29, 31, like picks that you'll probably end up exchanging for cash at some point. So I would look to, if I could attach Herb's salary to more salary and I could get me a player that is going to be useful next year and follow in the following years, I would be looking to do that. I think they know it's over. I think they know it's over because again, you're 11 and a half away from the 10th seed. You know what I'm saying? And you would have to, not only would you have to win at an incredible pace, everyone else, I'm talking about 11, 12, 10th, 11, 12, 13, all these teams got to lose at the exact same pace that you're winning at. So I think they know it's over. I think now it's kind of, you're in the point where, okay, how can I save my job if possible? And I wouldn't be shocked if ownership was like, yo, you're not doing no major deals with my team. Like you could trade Brandon, you probably could trade CJ, but you're not doing no major game, no earth-shattering deals with my organization if you're David Griffin, because I believe David Griffin's seat is a little warm, honestly, because it's not just the fact you're losing. It's how you're losing. You're losing in embarrassing fashion, and all the bad teams are winning games that you've managed to lose. The Wizards took the Knicks to overtime last night. You know, they lost, but they got more wins than you. Utah lost on a game-winning shot by Scoot Henderson. Then they just lost in another like end of the game situation last night where they turned the ball over. But these games are all competitive. You know, it's at least mildly entertaining, and they have several mid-salary contracts you could trade. Lito, you brought up Collins, how he's shooting the ball this year. Still got Collins Sexton, who a lot of teams like, you know, Orlando could possibly be interested. And you still got who you believe is your franchise cornerstone locked up for years to come with Lauri Markkanen. The Pelicans don't really have any of that. You got Brandon, who nobody wants right now, even nobody wanted him. Like my dog, shout out to my dog, he mentioned, why isn't the team working with Clutch to get? It's like, bro, I mean, you could take some shit, shine it up real nice. You can put it in Walmart. Nobody gonna buy it in Walmart. You take it to Target. Nobody's gonna buy it in Target. You take it to fucking Rouse's. Nobody gonna buy it at Rouse's. Nobody wants this shit. So if you could get 2-3 seconds at this point, I think you won that deal. And so that's just where I believe they are. I think I look to move Herb and replenish my picks in my war chest.
I think that's the interesting thing that we had that like hasn't really been talked about quite enough. Is that I saw somebody posting in the chat. It was like, why are we entertaining trading Herb? And it's because he's the only thing of value that people want. That's why you're having this conversation, because he's the player that seems like is there's noise being made about. But when you look at the other teams that are like, I guess, in your realm of shittiness in terms of record, that for me is the aspect that I guess I'm interested in, because you ignore Zion and Brandon for a second. Just imagine they didn't exist. You still have to look at the roster you have and make some kind of assessment of like, well, you're starting CJ and DeJounte and Herb and Trey and Missy, but you're not winning games with those guys at the same rate that Utah is winning with lineups that I think if you just look talent for talent are worse, right? Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, Kessler, like, I mean, it's equal, I would say, but they're winning at a better pace than you. You're winning at the same clip, or really even a little worse clip than Washington. I don't know. I watch a ton of NBA, and I don't think I could name you their 5 starters right now. Like, I mean, it's a really young team. Like, they're actively not trying to win games. So you've got to at least address that, right? Like the fact that the guys that you're playing right now, it's either the coach or the players. So you got to something has to be done, because that group should be winning more games and at least be more competitive than they are, and they're not. And that for me is part of this. Like, the little bit you do hear, it's always, well, we don't have Brandon. Fuck that. I know you ain't got them. That's cool, but whatever. We've all been like, we get that now. Let's talk about what you do have, and why can't you win a game with that? Because if that's not good enough, then I think you've got to. I mean, that for me is why you fire Willie Green months ago, is the fact that he can't, like, he really can only just roll the ball out there and pray. That's where I would start. But if you're not going to do that, then you have to address these other pieces, because they're not winning any games, which tells me they're just not very good together.
I think Ross.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think Ross is right in regards to the Herb situation. Anyone in the comments that hear us having conversations about Herb, and this happens every time we have a conversation about trading Herb Jones. For the past 2 years, in which we've had different shows discussing if it makes sense to trade Herb Jones, people, like, they turned it into it simply being about the individual talent of the player, and that's not it. Herb is, in my opinion, the smartest basketball player on the team. He's obviously the best defender. He's one of the best defenders in basketball. And he had a hell of a shooting year last year, and he has, some pluses from distribution to handling the ball and transition. Like, these things are clear. But Ross is right. You have been trying to trade Brandon Ingram, and you can't. And I don't think that it's not even a situation where I want to connect Brandon and Herb together to make it happen. It shouldn't be that way. The BI situation feels like Lonzo Ball all over again, except Chicago wanted Lonzo. Chicago was committed to paying Lonzo a year before, and the Pelicans still decided not to trade him and waited all the way until the season was over with and traded him for much less than what they could have got at the deadline. The difference with this one is that we don't know who truthfully wants Brandon. There are teams that say, we think that this guy can work with us. We think that, we like the player, but we don't want to give him or pay him the money that he thinks he's worth. So until he comes down on his asking price, it's not gonna matter anyway. So what do you do at that point? It's either A, you're gonna take another, sign and trade kind of situation, a bad deal, or you're going to take a horrible loss now, and Griff clearly isn't the guy to do that. When it comes to Herb and it being him being a value, like, bro, look, as awesome of a player as he is, it never matters if Zion Williamson is not healthy. It never matters. All you're doing is wasting and taking his value and getting him older anyway, because he accelerates winning basketball. He's not gonna show out in mud. He's not gonna play through shit. He's not gonna do what Trey Murphy's doing right now, averaging 20 points a game. That's just simply not Herb. Herb is who he is. He's a great glue piece and a spectacular defender. That's someone who should be on a winning team, a team with championship aspirations, not the Pelicans right now. So if you're in that situation and you're New Orleans and you can turn Herb into a first-round pick, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you do that with some of the other things that you need to address? Because you're playing for, I make the joke about them, someone in the building saying you're 11 games out, but very, very soon, if you're not already, you got to be thinking about next year. You got to be thinking about some of these dudes that won't be back on the floor for you next year, and some of the additions that you are going to have to make going into the next season from draft and so on and so forth. And for them, it's almost like the offseason got to start early. They got to be starting some of this shit now. And that's a question that they have to be addressing. We all love Herb Jones, but this is an asset-driven business. This is a value-driven business. And if at any point you can get what I think Herb may be worth in the open market to some of these teams right now, if you call Denver right now, if you call, I'm talking maybe – the standards will call them fringe contenders right now. But if you call I mean, I don't care. You like you name a team, Orlando. If you can call Denver and you can get a young talent or a young player and a first round pick or a first round pick back. If you call Minnesota, whoever it is, why wouldn't you do it? If Golden State calls you right now and said we struck out on a superstar, what's the market? We'll give you whatever for Herb Jones. We'll give you a pick. We'll give you we'll give you pods, whatever it is. You have to consider it because they ain't making them same calls that we know of right now for CJ, and they're not making them for Brandon.
Wait,
You're on mute.
I'm on mute.
No, 5.
I'm looking like the Pelicans are ranked 29th in defensive and 29th in offensive rating. And to me, I think Willie Green is an awful coach, but Willie Green is not making Herb a meh defender this year. Willie Green is not making Herb miss these shots. Willie Green is not making Herb like replaceable this year. Like he just isn't. Like there's a strong possibility that you've already seen the best of this player. This is clearly not, the Herb that we know. It's probably somewhere in the middle. But the point is really like, okay, let's say I think Herb only really matters if the team is healthy. Like I think Herb can elevate a team where all he has to do is defend. Like you put Herb on a team in a starting unit with I don't know. Let's say the Celtics. Could we say the Celtics? Or even you put Herb in a starting unit with the Cavaliers on a contender with multiple scores, first, second, third, maybe even fourth options who can score. Then it kind of magnifies what Herb is good at. But aside from that, it's like I just don't see it. Like it'll be one thing if he was playing well and the team was losing. Because then I can say, well, fuck, he's showing up, he's playing well. It's just the team is losing. But it's like he just isn't. Like he just isn't. And you've already shown that you can replace him. You drafted his replacement. You ended up trading him, but you drafted his replacement. And that guy isn't setting the world on fire in Atlanta, but he's playing better. He's younger and he's cheaper. You're not even on a Herb Jones timeline anymore. Like, and truthfully, on the best version of this team, Herb Jones probably isn't even starting. So you're gonna bring your defensive ace off the bench and just have him. You're gonna put him on the second unit. Like I've seen Herb in the playoffs against other teams, his best player. It didn't matter. Like Herb against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, against Jalen Williams, like it just don't matter. Like it don't matter. Herb against Devin Booker, it don't matter. So I'm trying to see at what point would he matter on a real team if everything else wasn't ideal or everything else wasn't perfect. And I just don't see it, especially not for the Pelicans. The Pelicans are nowhere near close to contending. And I think that's what people got to realize. It ain't like, no, once we get healthy, we add one more guy and Herb gonna be the icing on the cake. It's like you don't have a cake. You don't even got flour. You're like you fucked up, cuz you got to start from scratch. So I think people got to realize that as well.
I don't. Go ahead.
I just to Chaz's point, like Herb was really good those first couple of years, right? And I thought if the team was better, he would have probably ended up on second team, all defensive team, and the team was shit, right? Like going back and forth. I think that was a time where he played well above his contract. That's what lended to him getting that, what was it, $40 million contract, right? Am I not mistaken? Or 52. I think 52 million. Is that what he ended up getting? Now it's like they almost passed it, right? He's a little older now. The team isn't good. He had an injury. Now he's trying to play through that. He's not shooting the ball well. I think that all plays a part. But I wouldn't mind moving him at this point because I think the greatest fear for David Griffin is you move these players and then they metabolize into something greater somewhere else. And then he's like, oh, I told you these guys would be good if the team was good. Well, no, you didn't help that situation either. Yeah, you got a bunch of talent on the team, on the court, but yet it isn't winning. So what does that mean? It's cool to have a bunch of ingredients, but if you ain't got nobody to cook with it, it really don't mean shit. It really don't mean much. Like ain't nobody trying to go. I mean, Ross, not you specifically, you know, people that look like you, they can have all the same ingredients in houses that people that look like me. That don't mean I'm going to go over there and eat it. No. I just can't trust.
I think with Herb too is like, it's not necessarily about him. It's more so like you just you're not close. Like you can't keep hanging your hat on this fucking second rounder.
Yeah, like
you can't, because you keep missing in the lottery. In the lottery, that's where the game changers are. That's where you find the Jalen Williamses. That's where you find the Garland, but that's where you find the Garlands. That's where you find the Tyrese Maxey's. Even though he was like way later, he should have been a lottery pick. But that's where you missed with Kyra. You missed with Jax. You missed to a lesser degree with Noah, because Noah's 17, you know, and that's like, but and for your organization, what you drafted him for, you missed with Dyson. Like, stop telling me, and this is nothing against Herb. I fuck with Herb, but stop telling me about this second rounder. Like Herb Jones Day, what are we doing? You haven't won a series, cuz. You ain't won no series. Like, what are you doing? You giving them, like, come on, man. You ain't even got a good water pump drainage system. And you got the governor giving Herb Jones a fucking day. What are we doing here? This is stupidity. Like, this is clown shit. Like, come on, like, you're not serious here. Like, this is the only time we've seen David Griffin is when he went to congratulate Herb at his alma mater, which is incredible. Shout out to Herb for that. And, you know, great humanitarian work also. That's dope. But I don't care about what you're doing on the human level. I want to win some games. I want to win some series. I don't even fuck about none of that. Like, that's on your own time. But this is whack, man. Like, they just this is a shit show. It really has been.
Before we move on, hold on one second. Let's get a commercial in here real quick.
Okay.
Hey, I know you. You helped my cousin after her car accident. Ever since you won her case, she's been doing great.
Oh yeah, Melissa. She told me she had a cousin who works here.
What can I get for you?
How about a large hot coffee, please?
One hot coffee for Mr. Scott Vicknair.
It's David.
Excuse me?
I'm David Vicknair, and this is my law partner, Brad Scott.
Hey.
Wait, so then which one of you is Scott Vicknair?
Scott Vicknair, injury attorneys, we fight for the win.
Shout out to them boys, man. Melissa's still a bird. Hold on, we got breaking news.
Ime got gangsters. Got gangsters.
Hey, man.
That was a frustrating loss there.
Him that dude up.
Yeah,
hero
up.
That's
Ross, you in agreement that Herb should be the? Well, I guess Chaz. Let me ask you this. I know we're advocating for trade Herb, but is that the trade you would make? Like, is that with who's involved on this team? Is Herb specifically the one guy you trade? You saying that he's the only one that has the value, right?
I think not only is he the only one I believe has the value. I still think there's other players who got more value than Herb. It's just about who would want them. But also, to me, I just don't feel like you're on a Herb timeline anymore. Like, you don't have enough offense. Again, you ranked 29th, right, and you ain't always been hurt this season. Like, you know, you've had like different iterations of this lineup. You just had a fully you was just only missing Zion versus OKC. And again, Herb couldn't do nothing with Shea, and you were down 30 points before Brandon even went out. So you just don't have enough talent on this team, period. And Herb not taking you nowhere. Like, he's not taking you to no next level. You got to move on. Like, you got to strike while the iron is hot. It's your fault. It's your fault you fucked up. It's your fault you didn't draft better players. You could have kept Herb.
I think that's the one pushback I'd have is that I don't know that you're actually striking while the iron's hot by trading.
Well, no, it's kind of cold at this point. Yeah, last year was really
I think that's why I'm not as pro trade Herb right now as maybe some of you guys are. Is just that, like, I think if anyone, because just to go back to the whole thing about him not playing well, no one on the team is playing well. Nobody. So it's either, and that's why I said you really have to address that, because is no one playing well because the players are bad? Is no one playing well because the system is bad? Is no one playing well because you got a dunce for a head coach? Is no one playing well because there's just the morale is just shot to shit, and you're getting the absolute worst version of every player on the roster. There's a variety of things that I think are playing into that, and I think of pretty much everybody on the roster right now. I think if anybody can sort of rehabilitate some of their value, it's probably Herb, because if you got a little more morale, people started playing a little better or playing with more energy, and you had a new coach who was playing a different offensive style, I think you would just see you could see a better version of him that would then raise his value a little more. Because if you're talking about trading Herb for 3 second-round picks, kind of like the Finney Smith the other day, like, what's the purpose for me? That does nothing, because then all you've done is trade away what I feel is a pretty good player. You're going to lose Brandon in the offseason for nothing. So now you're basically coming back next year with the same team you have now, except no Herb and a couple extra second-round picks. That to me, just like, now you're already way worse next year than you are right now. And so I don't know. I think that's my only sort of pause button for just making a move to make it, because I think just trading Herb for 3 second-round picks is just sort of making a move to make it, and it doesn't make you better now, doesn't make you better next year. It doesn't alleviate some of your salary concerns, because Herb is really the only decent deal you have. I think he's the one player I would say wait.
See, Ross, I don't think you trade him for nothing, right? I don't think you trade him just to move him. I do think you can't be in a situation where we're considering him untradeable. I do think that if someone that kind of thing, I do think that you can't be in a situation where, like last year, it was okay. You got a chance to basically make the DeJounte Murray trade half a season earlier, and instead of Dyson is Herb. Well, I'm not saying that if it was a player, even a player of DeJounte's talent, we did a show. We all did a show after the trade deadline was over, and a couple of us said they should have done that just from a talent acquisition standpoint. Not no shot at Herb, because like when you ever get an opportunity to get that kind of situation to where we're saying, our star from a defensive perspective, look, guy is averaging 11 points per game. We get an opportunity to add salary and maybe a first-round pick and get a dude that's playing like an all-star and DeJounte Murray, whoever the other person on the side of the other door is. Let's say it's not DeJounte. How often do you get a chance if you're New Orleans to make a move like that? If that kind of introduces itself again, and maybe instead of the talent, it's more of draft pick kind of compensation, I think you have to at least consider it. If they're making calls, or if they're taking calls for others, if they're taking calls for Brandon, I don't know, the situation 100% with Zion, but let's say it's Jordan Hawkins, let's say whoever they are taking, CJ, whoever they are taking calls on, Herb Jones should at least be a part of that list. I have no problem if they keep him. I think I don't think you just miraculously get better to me by losing intelligent, talented basketball players. But at the same time, the Pelicans got to rethink the way that they view assets. And I think that's part of the reason that they're even in this situation, because they hold on to shit too long and they overvalue things. They move around like an individual with low self-esteem and confidence. They'll take and hold on and shine anything when they shouldn't.
It's like Herb also has, I'm about to pass you 5. He also got next year he'd essentially become an early expiring next year. After this year, Herb only has 2 years left on his contract. And the value is just going like this. Because even right now, again, I think you could get a first. It probably wouldn't be the best first, but a contender would give you a first. You might even be able to get a first in a swap. But I just don't see how, I didn't think he mattered that much last year, honestly. So I really don't see how he matters on this iteration of this team going forward. I just don't see it.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Just to kind of bridge the two, like Ross's point in Chaz, I don't think you can trade anyone right now until you fire the coach. Like until the trade deadline, I think it's somewhere in February, right? Like until that point, I think you need to fire Willie first, get a new identity of what basketball can look like, and then readjust yourself for, hey, we're just trying to build up value for everybody, right? Put them in an offense, give them new responsibility, maybe boost morale, and then I don't think Herb makes it past February. Like I really don't believe that. Truly.
Like, you saying this season?
Yeah, this season.
Oh,
I don't like if you're just being smart about it, like, all right, just try to build up his value. Some team will need some kind of defensive defender to try to win a championship in a league that still has a lot of parity in it. I think it's anybody's game, to be honest. I think a team would be more willing to give up a first at that point because they think, hey, their window is now to win. I think somebody will be willing to give up the first, and I think you should do that then, but only until you fire Willie Green. Well, only until you fire Willie Green first, get a new offensive coach, and kind of build from there.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because I continue to go back to it. It's like I just feel like you would be selling at Herb's lowest point in the last 2.5 years. Like you would, at least in my opinion, like this would be the epitome of selling as low as you could sell, which just isn't, economics 101. There are some cases where you just got to sell, right? Yeah. That's the Brandon situation. It don't matter. You sell low, sell high, sell for nothing. It don't matter. But that's not the case with Herb. And I think, to Chaz's point, that yes, he does have 2 more years after this, but that to me gives you a window. And I guess to go back to Chris's point of like, it depends on what the deal would look like. And I kind of want to sort of like discuss that with you all, because what does it look like? Like, what is the deal you'd say yes to? Because for me, I don't know that I'd say yes to the deal that like the Lakers just gave the Nets.
For Dorian Finney,
like I don't think I'd say yes if the same situation, three seconds and D'Lo for Herb. Like that don't really move the needle for me much. And so I guess it's like, then the follow to that is, well, then what would, right? Like what would it look like? Would you do it for just if whoever's got, I don't know, Oklahoma City's got 400 picks. If they said, just use a round number, right? Like we'd give you the 15th pick right now next year for Herb. Saying yes to that? Are we all saying yes to that?
Yeah. Well, I'm saying yeah. Because I'm like,
yeah.
But for
Lito,
me, that's
where say something. My bad.
That's where the conversation starts for me. That's like that to me is the one where I'm like, okay, I'm thinking about that. I'll probably say yes to that. The 20th pick, no. Like some kind of swap, no. Some random, like I just, because where's the value at, right? Like this team would. I mean, do we need to go through the failed picks with this group? You know what I'm saying? It's almost the same issue I have with the coaching situation. This front office they're gonna fuck it up. How many times they got to fuck it up for you to believe they're gonna fuck it up? You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same thing with the coach. Like I don't want to give this coach anything new because you've seen what he can do. He's not gonna do something different. And that's why I'm just so hesitant to be like, well, at least I know Herb was like a decent player, right?
Yeah.
I don't know whatever they're going to do after that's going to be anything decent. This is bad as Murray's looked in 5 years under this group of people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think Fabio, you have something?
No. I
was going to say, I think her the fact that Herb has his own day is crazy. Like it's crazy, man. No, and that's not no disrespect to Herb. You know what I'm saying? You see a fool, play a fool. But like the fact that your second round pick, which, obviously he got his accolade this summer, but like the fact that he's got a day, that's kind of crazy. I think people believe that Herb has another level offensively. I think that's the only reason why they probably give you pushback, because they still think like he can be. They have, like Chris was saying, like the Scottie Pippen thing. Like I think they think it's another level. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't gonna lie. I'd argue. I've been watching Scottie Pippen Jr. a lot this year. I'd argue I'd trade her for Scottie Pippen Jr. today.
He nice.
Like, and that's the thing. It's like, all right, Herb 26. End of his contract is gonna be 28. So even like to Ross's point, let's say the Lakers called you with that same offer right now. Like, we got 3 seconds for you and expiring salary. What you trying to do? Probably say no, right? But Herb at 27 with less years on his contract, that's probably gonna be where you at. Like, yo, look, we got 2 seconds for you, and a motherfucker making $14 million. So that's why I'm like, you gonna end up in the same situation you ended up in with Brandon, where like, look, you could have got the second or third pick, you said no. You could have got second, third pick and buku salary, you said no. Now look at you, and I think again it depends. Like, you don't want to just take a fake second or some bullshit, but I think at the off season at the latest, you got to move Herb.
Like,
go ahead,
imagine Derek White on this team right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you put him over there in Boston, and he's a very important piece of a championship winning team, a team that has those level of expectations. I don't doubt the fact that that Herb is hurt. I don't doubt the fact. I mean, like, again, like, this isn't a fucking trade Herb Jones right now, or he's a terrible player kind of situation. This team is not in a position from a coaching standpoint, a winning standpoint, maybe even a talent or an arsenal standpoint to make the best of Herb Jones. So if you are able to find a way to move him for something and try this shit again with another player that you bring in, you have to consider it, because at some point, like, what Herb is, he's 26 right now, 27. It's not like he's he's not 23, 22 years old. We're not talking about just like a young talent. One of you guys mentioned the timeline, or it's not. This ain't about what kind of player Herb is. We all know what kind of, or believe in what kind of player he is. But this is, I mean, man, this is the same group of people. And I ain't just talking about the folks in the comments, man, but I'll never forget, motherfuckers wanted to storm the damn Smoothie King Center or storm the spaces when we was talking about trading Josh Hart for fucking CJ McCollum. Like, nice stories and nice players, are real. But look at what Josh was able to do in New York. It's appreciated so much more there. And now, last year, what he was able to do in the playoffs, the year before, it's appreciated so much more. But it would look a lot worse. It didn't look the same when Josh Hart was in Portland.
Dog, Josh Hart scored 44 points in Portland. Nobody gave a fuck.
Nobody cared.
So like, it's all about placement. It's all about being in the right place. If Herb is in fucking Orlando, I promise you, the league will look at him totally different.
The sad part is,
go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was going to say that the sad part is Herb's value, even the way he's playing now, immediately goes up the day Zion plays a game. Immediately. Because you're going to win some games by accident just by having a more talented team out there. And people are going to say, oh, would you look at that? Because Herb's going to look the way he looked last year. Because there's better players on the court. Like, I get that he doesn't look that great right now. This is what happens when stars are gone. Role players get exposed. Like, it's not like there's not very many scenarios where the top two players on a team go out and you see some defensive player like a Herb Jones become a star. So like, he ain't gonna look good because his game ain't designed to look good with everybody out. I just think I just can't express enough how much I think trading him now would be trading him as low as you could trade him.
And also, Willie Green is the coach. Yeah, like, dog, he's not in an offense where his abilities are used in the correct manner. Like, no one is. Trey's shooting 35% from three. He's not even getting open looks.
Go
ahead, Lito.
My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to get the floor back to you, and I want to address this question to everybody. But like, do you think Willie Green gets fired?
Man, I don't know what it takes for him to get fired. I don't know, Lito. And that's the sad part. Usually, you lose, 20 some odd games, you only win 5. That's, usually tell you like, oh, nah, you getting fired. Then you got cats like Mike Brown that just won coach of the year. What, last year, 2 years ago? And he gets fired. Like, I don't know what it takes for a coach to get fired anymore. Like, we've lost all sense of thought about how we look at basketball and how we grade it. I have never seen this many coaches come out. Chris, you had a tweet. I've never seen this many coaches come out on behalf of another coach getting fired unjustly. Nobody would come out and say anything about Willie Green if he got fired. No one would say anything. And I kind of had it coming to him. Probably should have been got fired. That's what most motherfuckers would say. And me, I'm motherfuckers. Like, we don't know what it takes for Willie Green to get fired. We don't know what DEFCON 1, 2, or 3 is, or 5, 4 or 5. We don't know. No one knows. I don't think anybody in the Pelicans organization knows. I don't think Mrs. Benson knows when the Pelicans play basketball. No one knows anything.
I know what it'll take.
What it take?
Look, January 3rd, you play the Washington Wizards in New Orleans. I'm pretty sure Zion Williamson will be back. If they lose the game, Gail, it's a Sunday show. I know you're watching. I know you are now. It may not have been the Wednesday show you were watching. You might not have watched the show the show before that, but Sunday, everybody watching. You like Theos. You are watching this show 100%. If they lose to the Wizards, do not even let Willie Green exit out of the locker room. Don't let him pack his stuff up. Have somebody box his stuff up and bring it to his car. Don't just that's the time right then and there. Face paint, trench coat, baseball bat.
Let me ask y'all something. Because this is right in line with this, right? With the question. If you had to promise, because I was talking to somebody about this last night, and I was like, I don't like the idea of promoting Borrego because it would be impossible to evaluate him, right? Because let's say you promote him and the team sucks. It's still bad. Or Brandon's gone or Zion's back out or whatever happens, right? Let's say you promote him tomorrow and now he's a new coach. He loses to the Wizards, et cetera, reincorporating Zion. It takes time for Zion to become, and you just finish out the season just, juggling like fuck ups and you trying to just land on your feet. You go into the off season, and I'm sure you're not signing him on as the interim. You can't really undo that. You can't say, all right, we hired a real coach. Now you go back to being the interim. You either got to let him go or you got to roll with James Borrego. Me, I view James Borrego as let's say a nerd beat you up, right? Let's say a nerd beat you up. Now, just because he's a nerd don't mean he can't fight. But let's say a nerd whoops your ass. The nerd transfers schools. The nerd ain't in that school no more. You can't go back around your classmates yeah, I'm tough now. No, I already seen this nerd punking you for 2 years. That's how I view James Borrego. You here, bro. You here. Nobody's ever going to take you serious because you've been undercut and undermined for years by this fucking weasel. So you gonna have to get out the building too. That's just how I see. I don't know if y'all think there's advantages to promoting him now.
I had this conversation with myself earlier, to be honest with you, right? You just gotta kind of talk these things through, right? And I'm like, all right, bro. If the Mike Brown firing actually helps the Pelicans in a sense, right? On two accords, right? They could fire Willie Green and not receive any pushback. Be an easy PR move if they wanted to do it. But also, if James just becomes an interim, at the end of the season, you could say Mike Brown's the better coach, easily, right? If that's that's your idea, Mike Brown's a better coach, I could just hire Mike Brown. I don't know what Griff's relationship is with Mike Brown. It used to be Griff was in Cleveland when Mike Brown was in Cleveland. I think. I think there was Black.
I think Griff was in Phoenix when Mike Brown was in Cleveland.
I just don't know. I have to look it up, but I'm just saying, I don't know what the relationship is with the two. I wouldn't want, Griff making a decision anyway. But idea, what if he is here? You can be like, oh, well, I just want Mike Brown to be the head coach. He just seems like a more accomplished, brilliant basketball mind, holds his players accountable. If that's the idea of a guy that you want in the building, it would make a ton of sense for the Pelicans to hire Mike Brown as the coach moving forward, even if they allowed James Borrego to be the interim coach.
Russ, is Willie Green getting fired in January?
I have said from the jump that I don't think Willie Green will coach Zion Williamson again. And it sounds like Zion is imminently returning. I think it makes all the sense in the world. You know, we got New Year's coming up. That's when people start, you know, you make your little New Year's resolutions, all this shit. You try to make changes in your life. Well, here you go. It all fell just right. Let's go. New Year's Day, cut bait after you lose to whoever. What are we at Miami New Year's Day, right? Yeah, at Miami New Year's Day. And then you come home to play the Hornets. That feels like a good time right there. Boom, you lose a game. Get on out of there. Let Willie go enjoy the rest of his 2025. I do. I think he actually gets fired in the next week. I think he's gone. And I think to answer Chad, okay. I think to Chaz's point, I actually do think it makes a ton of sense to promote Borrego right now because I keep going back to this point of would you see the other players look better? Like I'm watching Orlando win games with Tristan Da Silva, Wendell Carter, Goga, Caldwell Pope, and then Suggs has been in it. Yeah, Suggs has been in and out of the lineup, so it's been Cole. And I'm watching them win games with that group. Yep. If to me, on paper, that group is worse than the guys you've been starting. I have to see what a new coach and a new offensive system and new life and new energy and an actual functional NBA offense, not this pee-wee shit that we've been running. I have to see what that looks like. You can evaluate Borrego when and however you want to. He's an interim head coach. He's just like Rizzy, man. Like if it goes great, cool. Like you might have stumbled into your coach by accident. If it doesn't, all right, well, unfortunately for him, he's just in a really bad situation. But it doesn't change the fact that what you have now is so bad that you have to move on from it because your players have, one, given up, and two, they have all lost tremendous market value. And so I think you're already bad enough to where it doesn't matter. Like you're not, Borrego's not going to come. For you to get back to 500, you got to go 36-14 over the last 50. Phil Jackson ain't coming back with this group and going 36-14. No one is going 36-14. So it's not going to matter. You're going to be bad no matter what. But he could start to make you be better.
Right. Let me ask you this, Ro, the panel. Let's say if you had to, because I saw someone say this. I've read this somewhere online. Someone covered the Saints. It was like Sean wanted to come back. And Mickey said no, because it wouldn't be fair to Dennis Allen, right? Probably one of the worst decisions ever. But anyway, that's why my question is more so, if I promote him as the interim, would I have to promise him something? Because if I have to promise him something moving forward, then it's a no. Because if I go into this offseason, I'm just throwing a fucking name out there. If I don't know, if any coach I liked became available, and I got this coach here because I promised him something, did I miss that opportunity to sign a better coach because I'm stuck with this guy?
Nobody needs any promises anymore, right? Like no one should have, an out for anything, right? Like Griff shouldn't be the one making that decision. No way. Like, bro, you're the interim head coach because we fired the head coach. Do you want to be the head coach right now? Would you want to be the interim head coach? If he says no, get somebody else because it really just won't matter anyway, right? Like I think James Borrego would take the responsibility, like, okay, yeah, I'll be the interim head coach. Maybe he'll be able to prove something within the last 50 games or so. How to run an offense. If he can change something in the last 50, I think other teams will look at him like, oh, well, we'll take a chance on James Borrego. Like it's a win-win situation for both sides. I mean, there are some losses there, but I think it'll be a good idea to say, hey, you're the coach until the end of the year, and then we reevaluate everything. But that would take somebody to have a plan to begin with. Like they should be planning for the offseason right now, looking at the draft right now, looking at situations right now. But we know they're not doing that because if years past, they haven't done that.
Jeff Bauer wouldn't stand for any of this shit.
Yeah, true. Talk to him.
He wouldn't. Not this man. He wouldn't stand for any of this shit. I'm just saying.
He just say, "Fuck it," and coach it himself.
You damn right.
What y'all think? If you had to promise Borrego, would you promote him, or would you go into the offseason like, nah, I don't want no promises with nobody?
I would, because I don't know who you like. I don't know who you think you would get that would be better than Borrego anyway. And I've seen what Borrego can do in his last head coaching stint with some non-stars, like with some players similar to like what you have now, right? Like I watched him help develop Kelly Oubre into a guy that was almost 6th man of the year. I watched him help develop LaMelo Ball into an all-star as a rookie or second-year player. I watched PJ Washington turn into it, like draft and develop into a pretty good player that people started to value. I watched Terry Rozier have some of the best years he's had. Like I think like with the exception of maybe LaMelo, like none of them other guys are superstars, but they were all playing really well under this guy. And I think some of those names you just heard are similar to Trey Murphy, are similar to CJ McCollum, are similar to DeJounte Murray, are similar to Herb Jones. Like not superstars, not perennial all-stars, but like whatever that tier below all-star is. And I think Borrego would be really good with some of these players. I really do.
I don't know about promises.
Yeah.
I don't believe that promises in business exist. Like your promise is your contract. Like that's the truth in business. Ain't no verbal promises. That don't work well for nobody ever. So y'all that's watching somebody give you at your job and they give you a verbal promise.
Well, not with this ownership group, Chris. I agree. Hey, conceptually, I agree with you. But these bums, there is. It's a family.
Okay, here. In a good business, and not a coat. In a good business and not a coat. That's how it go. But I think I'm with Ross M5 to a degree because number one, I think James Borrego desperately wants a chance to coach his fucking team. One side of it. The other side is I think he has an offensive plan. He has and a decent offensive resume. And I want to see what that looks like with this team because part of it is like, some of this shit is spoiled because you're a part of this, but are you really? Like, if you're not the one making the actual final calls, the actual decisions, if you're not the end all be all, I think the players would seem to respond better to him. They take a liking for him. That brings buy-in. I forgot what I was watching the other day, but they said whatever it was some veteran players. They said sometimes all good coaching really is communication and buy-in. That's it. I don't know how long it lasts, but I think it's worth the shot. But if nothing else, Chaz, this is a team that needs to take. They've been offensively challenged since Willie Green's got here. They've been offensively challenged. I bet anything at minimum, even if they turn into as bad of a team as defensively as Sacramento Kings were when they broke all those offensive records. I can promise you at least under Borrego, they won't be a bad offensive team. And I think we at least need to see that with the amount of options that they have that have been underused or underutilized the past 5 years or whatever it is.
Can I give you an example? This maybe not perfect, but it'll highlight a situation of where assistants either get more credit than they deserve, or you find out that they were useful or they weren't. Take Pete Carmichael. He got a lot of credit for being the brain behind this, that, and the other, everything else. Everybody just assumed. Turns out he was a bum. But it took the head coach leaving, the guy that was actually in charge, making all the decisions to leave before we knew he was a bum. I think this situation is similar, except it's flipped. We need the bum to leave so that we can see what an actual coach will do with these pieces. Because I don't believe CJ McCollum is a bad basketball player. I don't believe DeJounte Murray is a bad basketball player. I don't believe Herb Jones is a bad basketball player. I think they are all being made to look like bad basketball players because there's no morale and you have a bum as a head coach. I think once you remove the bum, you might see something different. And that for me is where, like, I guess my head is.
That's a great point Chris and Ross is making. I want to ask, let's say you, Lito, 5. Do y'all think him being like, because at that point he would be like the incumbent coach. Like at that point, you've been here. We know you, you know us. do you think that lessens his respect level from the like? Do you still think he'd have that prior team or that him? I've been here through all these failures stank on him, or do you think it would be like a breath of fresh air? Because that's my whole point. Is like I think you were just gonna be the other guy. I don't think you're gonna be viewed as like this breath of fresh air. But what do you think, Father
Lito, you go.
I mean, that's a good question. Because if I'm a player who's I say maybe if I'm a player who's been on the team and I saw what his predecessor did, I'm gonna say I probably wouldn't hold that against Borrego because I understand as an assistant, you only have so much power in the situation. You're not the person who making the decisions. But if I was a player on another team coming into the situation, I probably might assume that you were with the bullshit because I don't know the inner workings of it. That's a good question though. I could see how some people would hold the situation against them because they like, well, if you the OC, how we not even running your offense? Like how doesn't you get like that's what you hired for? You know what I'm saying? So like
yeah, I wouldn't mind it. To be honest, like even if they promised him some years, like I think he'll do a really good job with this team in this group. One, like to Ross's point, like you seen him add a Devontae Graham to that mix. He averaged like 21 in the season under, if I'm not mistaken, under James Borrego. I just want to see this team play like really good basketball and use their talented players in ways that is conducive to winning. And I believe this will be the first time, I guess, even let's say the Zion era, right, that this team will not have real aspirations for anything. Right, like you're not going to get to the playoffs, like that, right? Ime Udoka talked about how the early years when he got to Houston, like those first seasons, like how important it was to not really have aspirations for winning because winning can be almost taxing to a young player's development. Like, no, you almost need to learn how to lose, but in that sense, you'll get better in learning how to play basketball and that basketball that Ime wanted to play, and I don't know if the Pelicans will give, James Borrego the same leash that Houston gave Ime, but if it can look like something that's repetitive and conducive to winning, hopefully they'll keep that going and keep it moving.
Oh, Chris froze.
Oh shit! I thought.
Oh, he froze in a tough spot too.
Yeah,
well, like he got a sneeze or something.
I guess, Chaz, do you think Willie Green is getting fired this month?
Nah, I don't see it. Because I don't see the point of it, right? From like if I'm ownership, Griff, you're not getting another coach, brother. And if it's all going downhill anyway, why am I paying him to stay home? I already paid the last two motherfuckers to stay home. I might as well just let this dude ride it out, pause. I can avoid the entire bad PR blowback. Like they can say they're not worried about it, but come on, man. Because Willie Green is not gonna just go gently into the night. He gonna talk about this everybody that's left this organization, sans maybe Stan Van Gundy, talked about how bad the organization was. Like it's Elvin Gentry, everybody. So Willie Green, once he leave, he gonna talk about Griff and all them. So I think they're gonna try to leave. I think.
See, because I feel like he would like. I think he knows they've done him a favor. Well, like I don't think. I think he'd be. I don't think he's gonna badmouth anybody.
I don't think. But see, the thing with Willie Green, without saying too much, Willie Green. Everybody got people. Yeah. Everybody got an entourage, right? So he might not say nothing, but he got people. People gonna talk on his behalf. Everybody.
That's true. People that reach out to other people for other stuff. Yeah.
They got. Chris trying to join again. Yeah, there you
go. Chris, you think Willie getting fired this month? I mean January.
Yeah, because I think you gotta. I think he's ultimately going to get fired, and it just doesn't seem like a better time than to do it right now. To me, I don't. Why wait at this point? You know, it's not like you don't know where parts of this roster is going. You know, CJ's future isn't, or it shouldn't be. I don't think as a Pelican. You know, Brandon's on his last days out. Brandon's not here right now, but Zion's on the way back, and that's the key. Zion's on the way back. Do it now as you're welcoming him back in. You're getting the best version of Trey Murphy that you see right now. Like, let's not fuck that up. Let's continue to see what that can look like. Man. I mean, they're what 5-27? Is that the record?
Yeah.
I mean, but it's just do it like it. And for the type of organization that they are, that likes to make moves after someone else has shown them the way to go. Look, Sacramento already kind of took the criticism. They took the controversy tag away from, like, you can go ahead right now and slide in and fire Willie Green and no one even notice.
You think what's happening in Sacramento scaring them?
What's happening in Sacramento, Chad?
Man, it's everywhere though. Like I was gonna say this for later in the show, but like this is Matt Georgia Locked On Kings, not the other show. And he's like one of the good ones, so he's pretty much been covering it on a national basis and on a local basis. And I'm talking about everybody in Sacramento, just like we see all the other coaches and players come out. Like, this is something.
I have not been told directly by any straight up party that Fox liked or disliked Mike Brown. But from the conversations that I've had, putting 2 and 2 together and the understanding of their relationship up until this point, it is my understanding that if there were issues with Mike Brown amongst players in that locker room, De'Aaron Fox was not one of them. Or De'Aaron Fox was not one of the players that had problems with Mike and how he coached. Specifically, the accountability, the calling players out in practice or calling players out to the media at the podium after games. Here's what I'll say. Of course, I'm not naive to this. I'm not dumb. I know it is tremendously easier and more practical to get rid of a coach than it is to get rid of 1, 2, however many disgruntled players because of that coach. It's not unheard of to choose the coach over those players, but more often than not, it's a hell of a lot easier to get rid of the coach, especially in the NBA. This is a players' league. It's just the way it is. But my question is this. If you're getting rid of the coach because the players in question don't like the coach, because the coach is trying to hold them accountable for fundamental reasons, mental mistakes, a basic standard, not of Mike Brown, not to this incredibly high Mike Brown standard that nobody could possibly reach unless you're a superstar, not that, but to the basic NBA standards for a winning basketball team and being a winning player. If the players were not able to make that standard, even if Mike Brown was fired because of it, it does not excuse them for not reaching that standard.
Shout out to Matt George, one of Locked On's finest. You saw in that microphone he had was an ABC News microphone.
Yeah.
He don't just do Locked On like some other people. But,
so
my shit tripping. Well, go ahead.
So no, because like no,
my shit tripping. I don't know. Your Wi-Fi froze earlier. Mine tripping too. I don't know what's going on. But go ahead.
Mike Brown's a good coach. Like he's a good coach with like a track record. Like he has history. He has he's been to an NBA Finals as a coach, right? He has pedigree coming from what San Antonio. Like the motherfucker's one of his
Lakers,
like he's
Warriors,
coach Kobe and LeBron, like and then like
and Steph,
and like, but look though, not only that, right? He's a leader, he's a teacher, He fucking cares, and I think he's good at his job. This is a dude that when he came into like when he became a head coach, he was known for what he could do defensively.
Yep.
When he first started coaching, it was defensively. How do you get from there? We're talking 20 years later, and you were a part of coaching one of the best offensive regular seasons that we've seen in Sacramento. That coaches don't. This is what we scream about, like what we hope we want Willie Green to do. This is what we want. That means that this brother adapted one way or another. You can tell by the way all the other coaches stood up for him. No, that won't happen here. Willie ain't got that many supporters that's gonna come out and say all these different things. He's not the level of coach that Mike Brown is for that to happen. Hell no.
I mean, one day we'll talk about the dynamics of a coach being, most black men or defensive coaches that can be related to football and basketball, and we'll talk about that one day. But I also want to make a very, very interesting point. The Pelicans play December 30th. No, don't let me lie.
30th, I think we play the 30th and then the first.
30th and the first. The first is a very pivotal day. It's New Year's Day. What
Miami, right?
Yeah, Miami. In Miami.
Have the Narcan ready.
Yeah, right. Very pivotal day. And what's being played on that day? Important football games, right? If I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
A bunch of football games being played. A lot of media will be probably looking at football that day. You lose to Miami in the heat of the night, you'll just somehow, some way fire Willie Green. They'll just get swept under the rug. I really believe that that's the plan.
I think so too.
I really believe it, because I mean, who's gonna give a fuck if Willie Green got fired and the team was 5-30? Like, who would care? Who would care?
Hey, I won't.
I don't know.
I don't know about you, Cat.
Y'all think it'll make the news?
No. It might make the sports ticker. It might make the bottom ticker. Like it might.
In all honesty, do you think that's a really good question? You talking about the Sugar Bowl being played that night? Do you think it even shows up as breaking news on the bottom of the ticker? So Mike Brown did. Because I was watching that. Do you think it shows up as the yellow thing?
It was.
Definitely.
No, not breaking. It will show up as in, like, they're showing all the games at the bottom. They're going to show Pelicans lost, and then it's going to say head coach Willie Green was fired. That's what it's going to happen. Wow. It's not going to be like a stop the fucking presses. Hey, news now. Willie Green gets fired. No one's going to care.
I think you get a first take segment though. And I think the reason, because if they play Monday, right? So if you fire him Tuesday, and you fire him Tuesday, Monday night, Tuesday, right? I think you get a segment just because it's going to coincide with Zion coming back. And it's going to be like, oh, y'all want to first Mike Brown. Now y'all want to fire Willie Green because everybody's been hurt. And like, I think it's going to happen. It might not make a difference, but that's what I think going to happen.
Man, I don't know. New Year's 6, right? Like, if they have a segment, it's going to be like the D segment, pause. Like, it's not going to make the first block. It's not going to be uber important. It might happen Friday morning, right? Because that's not really a good day for television analysts, right? And that's the day Zion makes his return, and they're playing the Wizards. No one cares about the Wizards, right? Nationally. So it might make a segment there, but Stephen A. is what he's going to back Willie Green at that point.
For posturing, the sake of posturing, it's not going to be on the sake of coaching.
Now, he might have a segment on his podcast about it. I can see that.
That's what I think really going to push it, like, because you got Winhurst who, I think Winhurst with the Hoop Collective, I think you're going to see, like, I think Mike Brown, if you would have did it that same day, or if you would have did it already, it would have been, I think it would have been kind of like a little more like cool. But I think now that you coinciding it with Zion coming back, I thought the news today was kind of bad. Like, all right, so he cleared for contact, but he not practiced. Like, I think they kind of they plan themselves, because you gotta fire him before Zion comes back if you're gonna do it. Because if you bring him back, if you bring Zion back and fire him, you're gonna say, Well, you only got one game with Zion. Like, you know, it's just it's a weird
but
dynamic.
Even if we're talking about national media addressing it, what are they going to say?
Yeah.
Like, you're 5-27. Like, the Kings are 13-19, or 13-18, or whatever they are. You're 5-27. You were a playing team last year. This is the thing that kills me about these. People really treat the Pelicans, including ownership, management, coach, just a lot of fans they treat the Pelicans as if they made the conference finals last year, as if they're deserving of another shot, or they're deserving of patience, or they're deserving of more time. They don't deserve shit. They haven't won a thing. They haven't even been in the top tier. They haven't even been close to winning anything. And now you have a couple injuries and you are the laughing stock of the league. That shows you where you are as an organization. You deserve nothing. What are you going to say if you fire the head coach? They were 5-27. Motherfucker deserve to be fired. Like,
I think they're just going to blame it on the injuries.
Probably, maybe. Yeah. He didn't do nothing last year. Zion played 70-something games the year before. Like, it's not. That's what I'm saying. You blame it on the injuries. Cool. You were a playing team last year and the year before. Yeah. And the year before. So, like, you ain't never seen nothing. But, you know, like, it ain't. Yeah. I could see if they won a playoff series last year, I might not have the same feeling. Or if they had won one the year before, if they had gone deep into a second round.
But you at least won some impressive games this year. You can at least have an argument. Yeah.
There's nothing to talk about.
I mean, there's no way in hell we should be discussing outrage about Willie Green being fired. There's just no.
I don't think anybody will have outrage. I really don't think it's like, hey, you start 5-27. You know, hey,
Willie might get fired and, like, you know, come back to work the next day, like, not knowing. We don't know. Like, yeah, that's right. I got fired.
Man, my card don't work. Yo, that's how they fired Monty Williams, right? Monty Williams was going to work one day, and you're like, oh yeah, Monty, we forgot to tell you, we forgot to why don't you have a seat? He was on the news, bro. He was like, I can't believe this happened. I swear, I remember this like it was yesterday. It was crazy. But that's how they do you.
So let me ask you this: what do y'all say to the person who's like, yo, man, like the first take, for example, you can't tell me Willie Green is the reason why DeJounte Murray stinks. You can't tell me Willie Green is the reason why, like, I don't know, insert whatever player in the scenario is playing bad. Like, that can't possibly all be on him, because, you know, that's all they gonna see with the firing.
Yeah. Also, but it's his responsibility, right? Though, right? Like, what has Willie Green taken responsibility for? I don't care what the pundits say on national TV. They don't look. They only care about the Pelicans when Zion plays or he does something amazing. Like, they don't really give a fuck. I mean, Chaz has said this a bunch of times at this point. Like, no one nationally cares about the Pelicans. Like, this isn't a well-run organization. I'm sure David Griffin is going to put out some kind of statement to whomever his, you know, leeches are, you know, his people are. Like, yeah, he's going to do that. But I don't even think it gets that much time on SportsCenter.
They should have Devontae Graham go to his house.
Dog.
Drive to his house and let him know he's being relieved of his duties.
That would be, you would hire Devontae Graham for a
give him a 10-day.
Have Devontae break the news, man.
That's crazy.
Oh, yo, y'all, man. I asked Chris this yesterday. So we was talking about trades. If a team that had a player who wasn't gonna play the rest of the year, all right, or wouldn't be ready to let's say Naismith. If the Pacers called you with Isaiah Jackson and Naismith and salary, and they're like, look, Isaiah Jackson out for the year with an Achilles. Naismith got a fucked up ankle, but he'll be back soon at some point. Why don't you just let us get Brandon Ingram and take these two first, and Naismith and Isaiah Jackson? Me, I do it because I like Naismith. And I think Isaiah Jackson, I don't think his game really, he's restricted. You bring him back on $2 million or whatever. Let him recoup some value. What y'all say to a deal like that?
Didn't he tear his Achilles against the Pelicans?
Yeah, Isaiah Jackson did, and Naismith hurt his ankle against the Pelicans as well.
Yeah. You said 2 firsts in that deal?
Yeah, but you know, it's they late first with they first.
if anyone right now, I can't stress this enough, anybody is willing to give you two, if a G League team is willing to give you 2 first-round picks for Brandon right now, you take it. Anybody. I don't even need any players. If you want to give us some, cool. 2 first-round picks for Brandon. We got 50 games left. That's it. He's gone in 50 games, and he's not going to play all 50. He might play 30. And you still, even if he plays 30, you're not making the play. What? This is something for nothing. You're getting something for nothing.
What about you, Lito? Like it could be any 2 players. I mean, it could be any. Let's say it's just like Grant Williams towards ACL, Grant Williams and matching salary, and we'll give you 2 firsts. They might be mid to late first, but you got 2 firsts for Brandon. What's up? We're trying to do business.
I would say the 2 firsts is the appealing part of it. Like the players don't really move you. Like it ain't really move me like that. But the fact of the first, now it all comes back to for me, like who is running this bitch at that time. Because I might not even want them to have any picks. You know what I'm saying? I may just want them to be transactional with players. But I feel like if you get 2, I'm with Ross. You get 2 first. Like that's appealing. But when I look at the player part of it, it's like, especially coming off like for Isaiah Jackson, a big coming off an Achilles tear.
Well, you really just want the contracts. Yeah. My bad. Go ahead. No, I'm saying you really just want. Let's just say is Grant Williams with the ACL, right? He making about $15 million, I think. And let's just say you get another person on expiring, so you clear the books up about $15 million, and you got Grant Williams $15 million contract now. And you got the first. Like, Chris, we kind of talked about it before. What you thinking?
Repeat the trade to me again.
Let's say the Pacers call you or Charlotte, and they say, "Look, Isaiah Jackson, he not coming back this year, and just throw whatever matching salary and Naismith, who got a bad ankle right now, he on a real good contract." And we'll give you 2 picks. They might be mid picks, 20, 25, but it's 2 picks, 18 to 25. Do you do that deal for Brandon?
I mean, again, if we're talking two picks, I think, you got to do it at this point, especially if you can, if you're not taking on any salary that's gonna, any bloated salary, going forward. I think you have to, unless you think either because is that going to be identical to what you're going to be offered or what you can get in a sign and trade? And I don't think it is. So I mean, I think if there's a time to to do it, it gotta be again. But like I keep looking at that Siakam situation from last year. Problem is that I don't like Siakam was playing last year with Toronto. Brandon's hurt again, and we don't know when he's going to be back, and we don't know what it doesn't seem like his value's changed at all. My hope is that it's as close to what Siakam and what Toronto and Indiana did last year for Siakam around the trade deadline last year, who was going into a similar situation. You just got to ask, what is there a team? Is there an Indiana Pacers of this year out there that feels like, because I don't know if Indiana felt like they needed Pascal, but they knew they had to do something.
I ain't like Detroit looking kind of like that. Go ahead.
No, just to use that as an example, right? Indiana needed Pascal for this specific reason. He was a number 1 transition player in the NBA. Indiana was the number 1 transitional team in the NBA. Right. Like, it all made sense, right? Like, if you take Brandon for consideration, like, what I like Brandon. Again, I'm a preface this. I like Brandon. His skill set. What team are you sending him to that his skill set matches? Like truly matches, that makes that team better. Like, this is what they do now. Adding Brandon only elevates that.
I think you got teams that I can't say they struggle in the half court, but like I watched Houston tonight, right? And they didn't have anyone who could make a difficult shot. And like all Brandon take is difficult shots. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, Chaz, but there's 82 games in the season, bro. I'm not going to need 82 difficult shots. So, yeah, to your point.
Okay, now it's Minnesota. Minnesota was always it. That's the only team I can think of off the top of my head.
See, well, I like the Houston idea, right?
Mm.
Right. Although Brandon doesn't play a ton of games, cool. But I think Houston's well coached enough to survive Brandon not being able to play, 82 games. Like,
I meant my bad. I meant more so like
the rest of
82 games, and it's like I need to play a certain way all the other games versus like it's not gonna always come down to a difficult half court shot in the season.
I think Brandon would respect Ime a little bit more than he respected Willie Green. I think that relationship would pan out a lot better and more understanding. I think they might be on the same wavelength and even off the court. Like it just would make a lot of sense. Him in Houston. Now I don't know what Houston would want to give up. Pause. Like it makes sense for Brandon.
What about Denver?
I love it.
No. Yeah. Because I'm only asking because Russ went there, and there's been talks about Russ's style and him fitting in certain situations his whole damn career, whether it's fair to him or not. That's always been the thing. And you pair him with a really good coach. You put him in a different role, different responsibility, where he's been humble. Maybe his last stop, and he gets a chance to play with Jokic. Like, is Jokic? Because that would be my other question. Is Jokic? Yeah. When we're talking about bringing in players, is he style proof? Like, does it matter what the style of the player is or what they like to do when you get to play with Jokic in the middle of the floor every fucking night?
Nope.
See, the only thing I worry about with Brandon is like Jokic is in the middle of the floor all the time. So you need to create space for Joker too. Like he'll help you, but you got to be able to help him. Now Jamal.
Go learn Chinese. For real though.
Yeah. No, 5. That's damning, bro. No, that's damning. If you
that's real too. Yeah.
If you're telling me this motherfucker can't play with Jokic, dog, I'm out of answer, bro.
Joker almost he's to a tier with LeBron at this point, right? Like you can't play with LeBron 9 times out of 10, it's just not gonna work out for you.
Hey, Bron traded Brandon. And he ain't asking for him back. He's like never has Rich Paul say, how about second time's a charm.
Hey,
nobody asked for him back.
I agree with that though. But he would have to play well. See, that's the tough part about playing with like really elite basketball players. He gonna show you all the discrepancies you have in your game. Like if you just can't do simple things on a basketball court, play a role, defend, the things that are like asking Michael Porter Jr. to do. Is Brandon gonna shoot a 50% from the corner threes? Like,
let me ask y'all something. Because we saw Minnesota. Chris, I want to hear your Minnesota deal. But Jesse Davis, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Cole Young, Prosper, Jesse Davis, South Louisiana, everybody. So he said Brandon to the Bucks, right? Now, at this point, I'm desperate. at this point, I'm trying to get this foolishness over. Would you just say, all right, look, give me Chris Middleton, and I'm gonna figure it out going into next season. He gonna be teaching the young guy, whoever we draft. He gonna show him the ropes. He a real professional. And I'm gonna just try to trade him so another time because he actually shoots threes. He plays defense. He ain't the same defensive player he was, but he's kind of like what you hoped Brandon would turn into.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, it didn't happen. But would y'all at this point say, "Fuck it, just give me Chris Middleton. Let's get this over with"?
He do money, right?
No, he got his contract already.
Yeah, he got his contract.
No, he's got a player option for $35 million that there ain't no chance.
Oh yeah,
God's green earth he's turning down next year. So
that's still cheaper than Brandon, 36.
But that's for next year.
Oh yeah, I mean,
he's got a player option that he ain't turning down. So you're gonna owe him 35 next year. Yeah. That's the only reason you don't have 35 to give him. That puts you way over the top. I mean, that's.
I'm guessing you moving CJ too, though.
Okay, so now you're talking about CJ and Brandon for Chris for nothing. I know you're saying
honestly. Like I thought CJ made a lot of sense in Minnesota as well.
If I'm
my bad, go ahead, bro.
No, I was just saying if I'm just shipping Brandon to Milwaukee. I'd have to, for just an old basketball player like Middleton. I'd have to get something. Like I'd have to get Bobby Portis. So I'd have to be able to convince myself, like at least next year I can play Bobby Portis and I can trade Bobby Portis. You know, Bobby
I think
Portis
they might have a first or two with some protections. But see, that's what fucked up with them.
We have their first. We got.
Well, I mean, they might have like some protections they could take off or some shit like that. You can't get Portis because they can't aggregate salaries. That's why they in such a fucked up spot. Like,
well, how about they do a 3-team trade? I mean, Chris I guess we'll swing it to you at this some point, but how about they do a 3-team trade? You know, we don't end up with Chris. We probably get something from somewhere else. They send Chris to another team. I think that probably is your best bet if you're going to make the Brandon, Chris Middleton, Bucks, Pelicans trade work. Another team involved.
Hey, I say fuck it. At this point, that's
like going put your trash and your trash cans are full outside. You're like, hey, just walk that shit 2 houses down. Mr. Simmons down there, put that shit in his trash can. Like,
everybody else done pissed on this sofa. Why not me? Yeah. Who cares? Chris, what's your Minnesota deal, Chris?
Oh, dog. To me, that's easy, bro. That's Nas Reed, give me a draft pick and make the money work. That's simple to me.
Yeah,
sounds perfect.
Yeah, I mean, what is it, Conley? I mean, I don't think it's, and I really think Minnesota's in a situation where they got to do something, and they're desperate enough to make a move like that. And I could see how it could work, but it would have had to happen before they got Julius. I don't know how Julius and Brandon play together.
I think Nas Reed a free agent though. I just thought about that.
No, they just
they re-up last summer.
Yeah, shit, my bad. I thought
well, I think it was short though. He might have a player option for next year too or something.
Hey,
I think that might be what it is.
Brandon and
he might turn that shit.
Yeah, he got a player option next year.
For how much?
For 15 mil.
Shit, he's turning that down. Yeah.
I think that's why they said they traded Cat though, because it was like, yo, we might have to pay this motherfucker here.
Hey man, what the likes at, man? Y'all tell us we need to know where we at, man. We're hour 37 in. Before we move on, let's play.
Getting some holiday shopping done this weekend. While you're at it, pick up some touchdowns. They're on sale at DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings has doorbuster profit boosts and bet one get one promotions on all types of touchdown bets. Grab some TDs with DraftKings Sportsbook. They're on sale from Thanksgiving through Cyber Monday. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BOOT to opt in. That's code BOOT, BOOT, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
Yeah, everything he just said. Shout out to also John Deere, Stand Up Mortgage, Sunshine, Theo's. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate y'all support, everybody who support us. Chaz, I think he's about to say something before we went on the draft.
Oh, the homie Popacino, he always in here supporting. He keep asking. I don't think it's a terrible idea. He's proposing Brandon for Isaiah Stewart, and of course picks. What y'all thinking?
I'll say it again. I can't. I'm trying to find a clearer way to say it. Brandon, if you're talking about multiple first round picks. Anyone that's willing to give you multiple first round picks, the answer is yes. Okay. Anyone. That's my answer for anything related to Brandon.
Now,
y'all,
same on the picks. I mean, yeah. I mean,
dog, you got half a year left. Like you got to get something in return.
You got to get something.
Yeah,
God,
because he ain't coming back.
I ain't gonna hold you.
Right.
I'll take about 3 seconds. I ain't gonna lie. I'll take about. Say again. I like, oh, the water sounds nice. Take us there. Like give the 3 seconds. I don't give a fuck.
Nah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm with you. You gotta get something. The season almost over. Like Bob said, he not coming back. I think you can't afford to do the Lonzo shit again and just let him walk. So
leave it with something.
Yeah. Oh man.
Say man, look, I saw the team plus minus earlier with the starters, and man, that shit stunk. I can't remember the exact numbers, but that shit was bad. I ain't have no question to ask y'all, but I just wanted to say that shit was bad.
Down by 20 every game, bad.
Dog, like
I'm just trying to understand how you could just piss in multiple pools at one. This man, first you pissed in your own pool, all right, but it's your house, whatever. Then you go piss in Steve Kerr's pool, right? He like, all right, whatever. Then you go piss in Spoelstra's pool because Spoelstra was on that FIBA team as well. You done alienated 2 coaches who would probably trade for you because the Warriors need somebody, Miami needs somebody, like San Antonio, that's another option. But it's just people need like you just God damn.
Chad, you know the funny thing about that is like it's all you're right. It's all these teams like, God damn, we need an all-star. They get a call from Brandon Agent. Nah, not him.
Not you.
You got anybody else you want to talk about? Hey, we're down to do a deal.
God damn.
Man, stop playing, man.
They could really use a 20-point per game scorer, man. Like we need like an all-around guy, like 1-5. What about Brandon Ingram? No.
That's why I'm like
Memphis. I still think Memphis is
even Memphis, right? That's why
I still think Memphis is gonna do something.
I hope they call because he just tore his AC joint. I don't think they know the grade of it. I ain't gonna lie, I'd have had to pop Daniel Tice for that. He would have had to get retaliated upon because he knocked him the fuck out. But it's like I was saying earlier, like y'all don't. I mean, my dog Rich Paul is on the phone because he get a piece of Brandon money. Like he get a cut. You don't think he trying hard to get that his 30%, 10%, whatever he getting? He like, no, he gonna cut his hair. Yeah, he say he'll cut it. Yes. He says no problem. And like they trying. Like nobody it's tough. Fuck, man. Y'all do fan questions?
Well, yeah, man.
Damn, dog.
You know the fucked up thing about that, Chaz?
What's that?
Like all those coaches you talk about, Kerr and Spoelstra, like you don't think they talk to other people?
Yeah, like you don't think they got partners? Like
you don't think?
And not the elite. Like you can't piss off the elite coaches, bro. This is the elite of the elite. God damn, bro, you gonna fuck up somebody's house, bro. Like go to the ghetto, bro. You don't go to the pit. Like the top of the top.
It's the broken window rule.
Like these are motherfuckers that are starting their own tree, right? These are like the new coaches' trees. Like you go fuck. God damn.
That's
piss off Chauncey Billups or somebody, bro. Like don't piss off.
Like what's homie Kenny Atkinson. As soon as I saw Kenny was going to Cleveland, I was like, you can take that option off the table.
I did.
Because Kenny come from the Steve Kerr coaching tree at this point, and it's like, hey, what about that guy you had in out there in FIBA, the one who got sick? It's like, yeah, Kenny, you might want to do that. Larry Nance hurt again, y'all. He out indefinitely with a hand injury. Shout out to Larry though, man.
Friend of the show.
Great humanitarian for real, bro.
All right, man. Let's see. Sugar Shack giving out 4 tickets to every lap dance person. Shout out to Rob.
Shout out to Rob, man.
Shout out to Rob for the info.
Shout out to Rob.
Okay. Let's see. I don't know if y'all saw it. Shout out to Donna. You know what I'm saying?
Donald, man. Appreciate you, Doc.
Need Rita Vincent LeBlanc to come back and put hands on Gary. Hey,
man, what Matt Barr said? Violence ain't always the answer.
But
sometimes it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Anna Nicole Smith, man, aka Gail Benson. Natives.
Good Lord. Question for the New Orleans natives: why are the Saints fans called the Hoodas? Anybody want to go ahead and answer that?
I don't know. I thought Ross, you got any insight on
Hey, I'm from Lake.
Oh yeah,
now.
I don't know.
This man asked for the New Orleans natives.
Probably because we used to wear paper bags. I don't know.
Nah, it's some dude that came up with the chant, right?
Oh, who that said he gonna be the
Saints? Came up with the chant, and that's kind of how it evolved.
I mean, Steelers won and stole our shit. It was over after that. What's that? The legendary coach for the Steelers? It's like the
Art.
Chuck Noll.
Somebody in the chat. He was like the legendary one.
The Steelers have had like 3 coaches. They had like they got now Bill Cowher, and then whoever the dude before, the old white.
It might have been. Was it Bill?
It was Chuck Noll.
Noll, yeah.
John McNally.
I'm gonna Google it.
Come on, man.
Look at Lito, man.
Come on, man.
It might be Chuck Noll.
And the Bengals got who they.
Yeah, that shit is ass.
That's phony.
That's just ass. That's terrible.
Yep.
They say
stop playing with Lito.
You know what I'm saying? Fucking Chuck
Lito. Lito's been on one lately. Hey, shout out Lito for the first class Christmas card. By the way, family.
Good job.
Beautiful family. I was well done, Lito. I was proud of you. That thing came in the mail with the sunglasses.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, she's stunting on people.
Hey, Christmas cheer right there.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you, man.
I probably won't get mine in February, dog, but it's all right.
I hope you never get it.
Right. You're far away.
I sent it by ship.
Right.
Carrier pigeon.
Get there in time. Yeah. Telegram.
Justin Davis said Mike Brown is average as fuck. Don't hire him. Oh man. Bob, go ahead, Bob.
You got some interesting taste, man. God damn.
Oh, come on, man, dog. To Chris's point, like being a defensive guy, you don't make a switch to being an offensive, like I would say, guru. Like Sacramento had like a 17-year playoff drought, and he changed it. Like De'Aaron Fox, he couldn't get to the playoffs without Mike Brown.
That's a good point.
Like, you know how much turmoil Sacramento had? Like, some people wanted to sell. They needed him to sell the team. I think this new owner been there. He's been there maybe 5-6 years, if I'm not mistaken. Right? There was some upheaval about them getting a new stadium, but they weren't winning enough, and like it was all kind of shit. Mike Brown kind of stabilized them to a degree, right? And if it weren't for them losing to the Pelicans 6 times. Maybe, just maybe last year, they would have never been in this situation if that would have happened, right? And that wasn't really Mike Brown's fault. Yeah, you lose to a team 6 times, but it can't all be his fault. I mean, De'Aaron Fox is making what, $250 million somewhere in there, right? Somebody got to take responsibility.
Look, that Kings team wasn't just good offensively. They were historically great. It's one of the top 10 offenses of all time. So it's not like, it's not like people get all excited. Oh, under Willie Green, the Pelicans had like the seventh best defense in the league. They had one of the top 10 offenses in the history of basketball.
Yeah, I mean,
what else?
You just had a healthy Zion, and spare parts, man, available, dog.
That's really the crazy part, bro.
Crazy,
like,
man. Shout out to Chris, man. He the reason Mike Brown got fired because you hated the Kings. That
dog. It's not your fault. Put that in the atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, hey, man, listen. I hate that I had to have a black man lose his job, but guess what? There's another one that I want to lose their job next Friday. And since I'm on the road, let's not stop here. Let's not stop here.
No, I say why stop there?
Where you?
Why stop there?
If this is gonna pay me, listen.
Get them all out before.
Chauncey gotta go. Get Chauncey the hell up out there too. What they doing to Scoot?
Oh yeah, Chauncey's awful.
It's criminal.
So
Get him the fuck out of there.
Awful. But hey,
It's fucked up.
Oh,
talk about truth on this show.
let's see. Guys, I think you talked about this one anyway, but would you say?
Yeah, it would be shout out to Terry McGill. I would do that deal. Of course, it would be contingent on me being able to move CJ also. But in my mind, I'm moving because I with the Pelicans to me they own the $800,000 over the luxury tax because they're gonna make DeJounte sit that one game. And now if he don't, that would be interesting. If he like I ain't that's $1 million. Fuck y'all. But I think they're gonna make him sit that one game. So they only about $800,000 over the cap. So I'll do that deal and I'll just try to move CJ.
Real. Anybody else want to talk about this or?
We talked about it enough. Yeah.
Real.
Yeah, we all.
Yes. Yes.
Very happy to be here.
Yes.
Shout out to Donald, man. Donald said, "Could you imagine trading Josh Hart and BI instead of firing Stan?" Fuck.
Or
It would take an organization with some type of guts or like loan, nah. This dude's way too important for us to even think about. Or how about this? Just not fucking fire him and make this figure out. Just don't fire him at all.
you could really what you should have just said was first, Zion, what you think? Or you could have, man, both of y'all shut the fuck up. It's like just shut up. Like who are y'all? Like, yes, because Stan's been gone 4 years now.
Yeah.
Two of the three people ain't even here no more. And you've been trying to get rid of the final one, Brandon, for like months now. So you still don't have a culture. You still don't have the accountability. You still don't have any discipline on this team. So what did you really fire Stan for? And you've been paying him for years. And you still got a lot of his staff. So you just made a move for nothing.
Let's see. Chris, y'all must have a relationship with Trey because I don't see how he helps the team win.
What is it that people don't like about Trey Murphy to what they like? Where's the disconnect here? Seriously, like I don't really get it. Like I know he has his flaws, right? All players do, but like, what's the disconnect here to where folks like feel like Trey is like you think he mid? Like what do you mean no one's helping the fuck? They had 5 wins. There's no one helping the team win right now. Brandon was on the team. He couldn't help them win much more. Zion was healthy at one point. He only had he had 2 wins that he was a part of. Nobody's helped. I mean, what are you talking about?
I have my suspicions that might be, some crazed sex maniacs.
Oh, okay.
But I don't. That's unfounded. So I don't really, I'll just throw that out there.
She will strike again.
Yeah, I don't know.
No doubt. Me Monk.
It's a great question.
I'm gonna let anybody who wanna go ahead and answer that, have at it.
Yo, I think if the Kings doing this fire sale and cause I think first they're gonna try to like Fox, we serious. Like, we want you to stay, brother. That's what I think.
Real this time.
Yeah, Fox, wait. Just give us a chance, right? But even if they don't, if they saying like everybody's available, would y'all say, yo, what's up with Keegan, man? He having a really bad year.
Oh, yeah.
Really bad year. Like for him, historically bad year. But we know like this probably not who you is. So would y'all say, look, Keegan, you got 2 years until you do for an extension, or you got about another year and a half when you do for an extension. You're not gonna get that contract you want right now. So next year you have incentive to play the best basketball you could possibly play, and he rebounds. He's like a traditional stretch forward. Would y'all be like, man, let me get Keegan?
I have a theory that I hope works. To be honest, I'd try to go after Keegan Murray. And then bring Mike Brown to New Orleans and have a situation where you have Keegan Murray, Trey Murphy, and Zion Williamson playing basketball. You create a culture around. You have, I think, two really good. I think Keegan's what, 6'8",
something like that. Yeah.
6'8". You have a 6'8" guy shooting corner threes, and you have another guy shooting, above the break threes, and Trey Murphy the third, and you create plays using Mike Brown and Zion being your Sabonis in a sense. Yeah, man, I had these conversations with myself, and this is the shit that I would come up with.
5. Well,
yeah.
Who hires Mike Brown?
That is the most interesting part, right? Like, it can't be the guy in that clip that Chaz showed. That Chaz, who was that?
Which one are you talking about? The one.
It was a clip of a guy sitting in the stands.
Token.
Yeah.
Broken token.
Broken man.
Broken token. That's a damn shame. Look at this guy. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him.
It can't be that guy. It can't be that guy to hire your new coach. So I think you have to remove everybody from the front office and kind of rebuild from there. But if I was a thinking man, a strategic man, that would be the idea of what basketball would look like in New Orleans moving into next year.
You know what's funny? He looked like he thought about something and rolled his eyes at the thought.
Hey, bro, you can't be the GM looking like that.
The good thing is he's not the GM. That's the good. I guess that's the good part of it for him.
Yeah,
he's really not.
Ross, you got any young player you would target?
Like that you could reasonably acquire. Because I don't really know who. I don't even know what we're giving up to get Keegan, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like not really off the top of my head, because I don't know what we can get. I don't know what we can give up.
I say, would you trade Herb for Keegan?
Oh yeah.
Anybody else? Y'all trade Herb for Keegan?
I think so.
Yeah.
I would.
That was my trade. Yeah.
I would. They need an upgrade in philosophy now. I mean, we've seen if you were gonna get away from Willie Green, there's certain things that you are gonna have to move away from as well. And you tried to get like 3 or 4 different versions of Herb Jones since he's been in New Orleans. Now it's time to look for 3 or 4 different versions of Trey Murphy and see where the fuck that gets you.
That's the name I was gonna say.
Miami
and OKC. Okay. That's the dude they drafted like probably 10th or 11th this year, or somewhere right in that range. Tore his ACL.
Stretch forward, right?
No, he's a point guard.
Yeah,
he's like 6'6" or 6'7".
Yeah, point forward. My bad.
Yeah,
high ceiling,
very high ceiling. That's probably the type of player that I'd be interested in. But no. My only, this is kind of dumb, I guess, but like my only fear with the Keegan thing is, all right, cool, you get him here, and then you got sort of 2 of the same player between him and Trey, and Zion can only play the 4. And so it's like, maybe with the right coach and some different players around them. But I almost asked myself, like, damn, can those 3 players be on the court at the same time? If that's what you're building around. But I don't know. I mean, I think the right coach can figure that out if you got the right talent.
Ross, will Zion be there?
Oh, probably not. Until he's actually here. I don't.
I mean, like that's like the shit. Everything is so much more fucking easier to all these conversations are easier if one's healthy, because we've seen him raise the floor of him being on the floor, raising the floor. So many different players, a laundry list of players. Some that are here, some that are in different places. Everything typically looks better when he's in shape and he's in the right mindset. When he's not on the floor, we don't know what the fuck team building is like, because what are you building around? You just add in parts. Like, but if you don't have a fucking motor, you know what I mean? The transmission fucked up, you ain't got a car. So I mean,
that's what to Chaz. I'm probably gonna say the same thing, and that's why I started the show by saying you got to focus on the players you have available playing right now, and address why you're not winning games, because that for me is that's where you're at. You can't rely on Zion. Brandon's gone at the end of the year. You have this group of players, and they're 5-27 for the most part. Like, and they're really not 5-27 because Zion was there for those first 2 wins, or for 2 of your 5 wins. So like this group of players is worse than that. And it's so I don't know. That's I'm all for addressing like either finding a way to improve via coaching or find a way to improve via talent acquisition of what you have now, because this ain't winning. You're losing historically.
I think for me, if I'm the team, I view Zion like I should have been viewing Brandon all these years. Like, you my second or whatever best player. Just do what I'm acquiring people that can play with anyone. Like, to me, Keegan and Trey can play with any, especially if Trey continues to progress and putting the ball on the floor, because that's something that's like, all right, if he keeps going this route, then you really talking about something different now. And I'm trying to build for whoever I'm drafting. Like, honestly, like I'm trying to go with best talent available moving forward. Because to me, even if Zion plays, let's say he played this whole season, you got more wins, but there still isn't, you still void of talent. He just kind of raised the floor for everybody, but you still have such a limited ceiling, because like we saw in the playoffs, you take Zion, yeah, you might win a game or two with Zion in that series, but you still would have lost, and you couldn't even get one game without him. So I just think you just really got to get some talent that can play with anyone, that can, you know, at least sustain on their own for a time, like you see with Orlando.
Bro, shout out to Tiger for the
Shout out to Tiger, man.
I can't really read the question, but I'm gonna say salute. Thank you for you know what I'm saying, the offering.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't even know how to spell your name, my dog. I'm just gonna read the question, because
can you try? Because we would if Justin was hosting, we would ask him to try to read the name. Can you try to read the name, please?
Man, Q-Sef Bquirquir.
Appreciate that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Professional.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Scott gave up a random class name without the lady saying her name first. Melissa, right? The broken foot.
Yeah. Like, yeah, that is true. Sure, there's some laws against that.
But look, shout out to Scott Vicknair. They're giving away like $15,000 of Uber vouchers for New Year's Eve.
Damn.
So if you're gonna be drinking on New Year's, they go check out their website or their Instagram or whatever. I thought that was pretty cool, especially in New Orleans where you got a lot of parties. Giving away $15,000 of Uber vouchers between like noon on the 31st and like noon on the 1st. So check that out. In all seriousness, that's
incredible.
I think that's a hell of a move.
I think some people in the organization gonna be using that Miami New Year's trip. I'm telling y'all better be on standby. I'm telling you, they were like hospital full.
Crazy out here, man. Shout out to Flight Mizark.
Shout out, dog.
Let's talk about how Brandon Zion was a bad thought from the get-go.
Was it? Because it wasn't. Fuck. I mean, I thought more about Zion and Lonzo Ball, playing basketball than I did Brandon and Zion in the beginning, and then it was, the draft picks and everything that you had brought in. I guess maybe the question is centered towards after Brandon signs the extension. And I guess at that point, I mean, he was an all-star. The next year, they played pretty decent together. That was probably one of their better years as a tandem.
Yeah, the stand.
Yeah, but I mean, was it a bad thought, or did the organization just fumble it? Did they, like we talked about this early in the chat, how bad organizations tend to just concede to talents that they shouldn't, right? They enable all-star players, or even, below, maybe one-time all-star players, versus that, that spot should be for the top of the top, the elite. Brandon changed his game. There were some other things that played. Zion was never really fully committed, or wasn't consistently committed. I mean, I don't know if the two was a bad thought, but I think everybody just bots the fucking situation. But what did you have at the moment or at that time? Now, once you got to year 3 or year 4, you probably should have been thinking, it's time to pivot. I don't know how you make it to year 6 like this, but
yeah. Couple of more. We'll get out of here. It's hold on. Fuck that. It's been 2 hours, man. What is the likes at? I can't believe this has been 2 hours, by the way. This is
it's a bad team. Team sucks. Oh, damn.
I'm showing 126 likes. 200 in the room. I mean,
that's not bad, you know.
200. I'd love to see us get to 150. You know, we got a few minutes left in the show. Let's get this thing to 150.
For 2 hours,
I was about to take a shot, but you know, I'm gonna be cool. Yeah.
Don't be cool.
Hey, you know, it could be worse. You know, that's what I was about to say. You know, I just say. You know.
Oh, you're not referring to the show that just tried to, you know, start a little earlier than us. In the night that gets about 30 likes, 30 people
Ross,
watching. You talking about that show specifically?
This is the crazy part, Ross. What show?
You know good and damn well what show.
I don't even know what show. Hey, I'm not in the
clowns.
I wish I knew, but I'm not in the know. Let me move on with the next. What's the question? Spectacular Insight always in the building. Would y'all trade the number 1 pick if we got it? I couldn't do it. It depends who. We had this conversation before. I don't know. It's spectacular. What y'all think, fellas?
No.
Would I trade it? No, I ain't trading.
No, you
can't. What you gonna trade it for?
Nah, I think because he might mean, you know, if they like, yo, Giannis, what's up? Like, you know, he might mean if someone became available.
I don't know.
Barring a miracle.
Yeah. Cause I'm ready to restart the timeline a little bit. I think you rushed it before, and let's say you trade it and you get one of these great players, you still don't have the supporting pieces, you know, right now. Like you could look at what Phoenix going through, and it's like, damn, bro, y'all probably could have squeezed out at least another 2-3 years of real contention before y'all just totally fucked off the whole team.
Man, I don't know.
If it's Paolo or somebody like that, then I probably say yeah.
That's an interesting question, man. Because like I'm so tired of the like look to next year. Let's look at 4 years from now. Like, man, you telling me I could go get one of the top 5 players in the NBA today for that pick? Hey, yeah.
Who's the coach?
I think I might, man. I don't know.
I forgot. It was somebody terrible got picked before Tatum. And they was talking about it the other day. They was like, can you believe that they did this? And it was like, oh, Lord. No, I think was it Wendell, not Wendell Carter Jr. What's homie in Washington right now? The one with the wild Marvin Bagley. I think, was he in that Tatum draft?
You said the wild dad. That's funny.
No, it's like, yo, damn, like the Kings just kept doing that, dog. The Kings picked they just, oh my god.
No, but this is their this is their history.
This is
their fucking history. This is decades of this shit. This ain't just started 5-6 years ago. This is decades. This is Johnny Flynn. Okay,
listen.
I said, I ain't taking it back.
Listen, don't disrespect somebody like Johnny Flynn, bro. Because
Jimmy Fredette.
Oh yeah,
Jimmy was crazy. Former Pelican, by the way. Jimmy was crazy.
You couldn't tell me Johnny Flynn wasn't about to be that guy. You couldn't convince me otherwise, bro. You couldn't convince me.
Thomas Robinson.
Willie Cauley-Stein. I mean, we can go over.
Was it Davion Mitchell?
Davion Mitchell. You drafted Halliburton and you traded his ass over for Sabonis. Did it work? Did it not work? I don't know.
Tariq Evans was a good pick. Tariq and Boogie. That was 2 good picks. But
Davion Mitchell playing good basketball in Toronto right now too.
Yeah. They play with a lot of effort out there.
But again, they have no expectations. They have no expectations.
They hurt
Nick
crazy.
Stauskas. Man, they have
okay. I'm about to say we go like it's bad. Listen, if y'all think if y'all think the Pelicans have had a bad history, especially when it comes to drafting, you go pull up Sacramento. It's some bad shit over there.
I'll just give you this back to back to back. All right, Bismack Biyombo.
Hey.
Thomas Robinson, Ben McLemore, Nick Stauskas, Willie Cauley-Stein, Marcus Chris. Those were all in the top 10.
Bismack
back to back.
Bismack went to Charlotte.
Oh, I guess that was traded.
Yeah, he was traded.
Yeah.
Ben McLemore was crazy though. Yeah. That Kansas team wasn't even that good, bro.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be the next Ray Allen. Shaq was still in the ownership group at that point, right? And he kept doubling down on being like Ben's gonna be that guy.
Man, what? He had like a good 2-year run where he was like, hey, he's shooting pretty well. Like he was like at that point he became a role player.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's why you don't listen to people that eat Papa John's, man. Now
Theo's.
Theo's.
Yeah, if it was Theo's, you take that to the bank.
Oh my god! Hey, how y'all? Damn, that's crazy. Nick Stauskas ain't been in the league in a minute, huh? Good lord,
yeah, been like a decade.
Markelle Fultz, he's still sick and out the league right now. He got some kind of illness. Hope he all right.
I didn't know what he was. I didn't know what was going on with him. How do y'all feel? I guess, man. Look, last question. How y'all feel about the Lakers trade?
I like it for the Lakers.
I think it's kind of a win-win.
Yeah. I thought it was like a win-win to the point like it allows Brooklyn to be like, no, we suck. We're not trying to win.
Yeah,
and them motherfuckers lost by 1 point tonight. It was a crazy game. Go ahead.
Finney Smith could have made that 1 point. That could have been the
difference. Hey, bro. Like I just think they understand where they are and they're trying to go. Like, all right, you were not trying to win. They're just making a clear, directional path to get there. And the Lakers, they got better.
Man, Sean Marks got I want his job security. So Sean Marks been able to do this twice, right?
Yeah, it's second time.
Shout out to him, man.
I don't understand it, honestly.
I mean, hey, like at least he's like, hey, I've done this before. I tried to turn it in. I know what I'm doing. I'm competent. I've done this before. I did it here. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna bring the guy that was a part of it the first time I did it, D'Angelo. He's the perfect guy to bring this back full circle. We got 32 picks. Let's do it.
They were a KD toe away from making an NBA Finals.
Yep.
That is crazy. That's how fast life really comes at you. I mean, one minute you're media credentialed person, and the next minute you're selling dick pills and mufflers. That's just on your whack ass podcast. It's just life just it's really a box of Built Bars, dog. Like it's wild. And y'all can hear me? Can y'all hear me? Check.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, all right. But yeah, man, it's wild.
Oh,
shout out to, salute to them dudes though, man. Shout out to Sean Marks. I saw Sean Marks at Walmart and chopped the tulips one time.
Was he buying?
No, I don't know. He was walking in. I think I was leaving. He was walking in. He was like, "Hey," so he speaks an accent. He was like, "It ain't right. When you can't please your lady." Now this. But anyway, it shows off the rails.
Hey, before we get out of here,
oh man,
you took it off. Jazz just spent 3 minutes taking it off the rails, and then Brandon was like, it shows off the rails now.
This is insane.
Shout out to supplements, man. Listen, man, supplements, change lives, man. You know what I
mean? Get your vitamin ED.
This, yeah. Oh.
Don't settle. Go hard on them dudes. Everybody's trying to play the right way. Salute. Be aggressive.
I don't even. I bet.
Audio Jungle.
Hey yo, for our last part of the show, I'm gonna show y'all why everything on Airline is aligned. Everything is together. The Saints lost today, right? But check this out.
And if anyone knows anything about business, you know that the market goes up and down, up and down. And those who win in the long haul are those who don't panic when things are going down. That is the great thing about this organization and this family, is that when things aren't going the way that we want, there will be no panic. I trust our organization, because some organizations, when they fall off, they never return. But if you look at the great organizations across any league, give them time, they always rise back to being that contender. And so a word to the family is, I understand our frustration. That's because we have been contenders. It is not a false hope. It is not a false expectation. But the message is also that we can't panic, that we can't worry. We have to stay together. We have to stay united. And we have to trust that we will rise from this. We will get back to what we are.
Now, here's the thing. DeMario Davis is a great guy, man. He's a great guy. But listen, this organization is so slimy. They put a man of God in front of us, right? And the fucked up thing is, the audio wasn't even agreeing what he was saying. The audio knew he was lying. You hear the audio evoking the spirit of the Holy Ghost trying to say something totally different. Like, motherfucker, what are you saying? This is not true. You know you're a good man. No, you don't have to do this, DeMario. Like, bro, the cult. Go ahead.
No. It's 5 seconds with Lito.
Please, no. Because I'm saying I did this because it's like the semblance between these two organizations, same ownership, obviously, but like look at what they put in front of you. To
listen, I know what somebody being held hostage, and there's no way that there's not like he wasn't reading that off of a piece of paper that had blood on it. Like there's no like what the fuck. Like it didn't even. I mean, I feel like that's something you hear like in a nightmare. Yeah, was he? Because DeMario is like an emotional guy, right? So he's either like really angry, he'll cry. I don't know what that was, and I don't know if I need to see that again. I don't know.
Like we were watching this just now.
Him a nice house. Why come Pastor got to have a nice car? Don't ask.
Like Mario, it's like week 15, brother. Like this is shit. If I'd have heard this from a 27-year-old in week 2, I'd have felt a lot more comfortable. I don't give a fuck no more than Mario. Get out of here.
Bro. It's over. That's the end of the show too, by the way. Peace and blessings. Thank you all the sponsors, and we'll see y'all soon.
Salute.